Hi, this is Holter Graham, narrator of the audiobook Double Feature by Owen King. How did I get into narrating audiobooks? I had been living in New York City for quite a few years as an actor and doing voiceover, and my agents knew that I did accents, dialects, and stuff, and a particular audiobook came up that required a North Carolina accent sort of throughout. And so it was very sideways. They kind of went, hey, you do funny accents, right? Try this. And that audition led to a job, and it's probably been 9, almost 10 years since, and I haven't looked back. It's been great. The recording process, these days, it's technologically different sometimes, but the best kind of process is the one I'm doing right now in a nice quiet room where you're left to your own devices, and it's you and an iPad and a piece of machinery recording you, and you just sort of make sure you don't stop being the book. It's sort of oddly simple, and that's why it's sometimes really hard, but you just be with the book and move forward, keep reading out loud, and eventually it'll say the end. Like a lot of the books I narrate, the favorite character question, it comes up, and I think my answers are sort of hopefully pleasantly boring, because as often as not, you have a favorite character that isn't the exciting one or the actory one where you get to do a funny voice or chew the scenery. I think actually Allie is my favorite character to narrate in Double Feature, not because of the vocal quality or the work I have to do to narrate her, but because there's an evenness, there's an elegance to that character that it just feels true to me to read, and so it raises my expectations and hopes that I can do a good job of being that true when I read her. As to how I decide how each character sounds, it's as often as not, if you have the time to kind of do a read, I think acting is genetic. I think people either can or can't, and part of that genetic capacity is when you're reading through a character, something happens and you think, okay, that guy's nasal, or he's going to be clipped, or, oh, right, I remember she completely loses it later, so I need to start soft. And you think, okay, that's a little hook that makes sense to me, and that hook is how I will always re-enter that character, so I'm always true to it whenever it comes up. Drawing on inflections from real life and real people for inspiration, that happens all the time, and I hate to admit it, but I think it's probably sort of cheating. It's hard to do lots and lots and lots of different voices, and to be able to sort of solidly know, right, this guy says dude the same way a friend of mine from high school did. That's nice. It's safe because I know it's there and I'm not going to mess up, and I'm not going to not do the book justice by being wrong and fouling up a character. So I'm from Baltimore. It's a very weird, normal, local accent. I use it a lot because it's a nice place to plant something, and I think it allows security. So yeah, you dig into real life all the time. The arc of my career question of starting my acting life in Maximum Overdrive as a 13-year-old boy, being directed by Stephen King, and now narrating Owen King, and having narrated some Stephen King too. I think it actually, I don't want to be cheesy, I feel very moved by it, because what actors do is impermanent, and what we do is, we're just reading about it in the book, in the narration process now. What actors do is fake it on purpose, and there's sort of a mistiness and a non-connectedness to being an actor. You know, what do you do for your living? Oh, I fake it. So to have real points that arc over a long time. I mean, Maximum Overdrive was 1985. I was 13, and I turned 41 the other day, and to still have waypoints of other people in the storytelling business with whom I'm interacting, I guess it makes me feel professional. It makes me feel very lucky that if there's any reasoning out there in the King family to think I'm worthy of continuing to hire every once in a while, that puts me over the moon too. But I think mainly it's grounding. There's a scene that just physically is a lot of words without a lot of break. It's sort of the description of the filming process. That was the one that sort of stood up as, you're going to have to nail this. You're going to have to pay attention and do it right and be focused. And maybe it's a masochism. Maybe it's that I'm half Norwegian, half Scottish. I sort of like when jobs are hard, and you knew that one would be hard, because if you're going to do it right, you have to really nail it. So I think the sort of production description of the film is probably my favorite, because I really hope that when I get to the end of a sequence, I feel like I'm exhausted, I didn't leave anything out, I put it all on the table, and I think I did the work justice. If I can feel like that for half a second, you know, under any given audiobook, I'm even more happy that I do this for a living.